Right now, everybody's talking about Julia Quinn because of the Bridgerton series. Season 2 came out on Netflix recently. But what about Paula Quinn? You ever heard of her? If you are potentially interested in Highlander romance, or you already are, I highly recommend Paula Quinn. Today we're going to be talking about her book, Laird of the Mist. Hey, it's Bea, and welcome to my channel, Surprised by Romance. I'm a brand new romance novel enthusiast, and I'm excited to share all about it on this channel. So yeah, I'm really into Highlander romance. I have to say, I got a recommendation from somebody to read Children of the Mist series by Paula Quinn, and I loved it so much that I decided to go backwards to her series, The MacGregors, which is before Children of the Mist. It was highly recommended on Goodreads that people start at the MacGregors series because it really lays the groundwork for what goes on in Children of the Mist. Children of the Mist is based on the kids of the characters in the MacGregors series. So today we're talking about Laird of the Mist, which is book 1 of the MacGregors series by Paula Quinn. I really enjoyed this book. There's a lot of politics. You learn a lot about Scotland and what was going on in the 1600s. I definitely loved learning about it, but I had to go back a little bit sometimes and just sort of double check what was going on because it got a little bit confusing. Our heroine is Kate Campbell. She is a Spitfire. She has a brother named Robert who she adores, but they've been separated. And she's a little concerned about her uncle Duncan. He seems to be kind of a bad guy. One day, the keep where she's staying is attacked, and you can see what a good swordswoman she is. On the horizon is Callum MacGregor, who is the book's hero. The cover has nothing to do with, like, the way that he looks in the book has nothing to do with the way he looks in the cover. I think we know that happens often. Picture a gentleman who looks like Mel Gibson's character in Braveheart. He's got the long hair, he's got the braids in the front. He has a lot of scars, both physically and emotionally. And he is actually seeking revenge when he sees Kate. And he decides, once he finds out who she is, to keep her for ransom because he wants to kill her uncle, who long ago was partially responsible for locking away himself and his sister Maggie, who was only 5. And they spent 9 years in a dungeon before he finally escapes in a rage. And he and his sister are both pretty scarred. Thankfully, Kate is there to help him heal. For me, he was a little moody and angry. Obviously, it makes sense considering his life and what's gone on and what he seems to be driven by. But as the book goes on, he starts to fall in love with her. And maybe revenge isn't as important as it used to be. There are some pretty interesting love scenes, especially one on a horse that I was thinking, I'm not sure about the logistics on that. But overall, I mean, I enjoyed it. She's a great writer, for sure. The settings were beautiful. They were often in the countryside, and the home of Callum MacGregor, he lives in the Highlands in Skye, where they can't really be reached. They've been proscribed by the king, which means that basically they're supposed to be wiped off the planet. They aren't recognized as real people anymore. They have prices on their heads, and they can't own land. So they definitely wanted to escape to a place that's basically no one can get to. And that is what Skye is, and it is gorgeously described. I loved it. I felt like I was there. These people are rough and tough, and Brody and Angus are 2 big-time barbarians that are good friends of Callum's, who I could have used a little less of in the book. But I will say, Graham, his best friend and the commander of his clan, oh my gosh. I'll talk more about him in my next video. He is really amazing. What a catch. But in any case, yeah, I don't want to give too much away, but Kate discovers that maybe her uncle isn't as good as she thinks he is. And Callum discovers maybe he doesn't need revenge as much as he thinks that he does. Maybe there's something a little more important. And maybe they sort of rescue each other in this story. I had goosebumps throughout. I really enjoyed it. I would give this book 4 stars. So I highly recommend it. Anthony Ferguson narrated it, And he did a great job on the accents. For me, it was a little woodeny at first. It sort of sounded like turn left, turn right, you know. But it wasn't, once you got used to it, it wasn't so bad. So I hope you enjoy this book, or if you have, let me know in the comments. If you have any other recommendations for Highlander books that you like, I'd love to know. So thanks.